How do you guys feel about Michael Penix Jr.? Did his stock drop after the worst game of his career? The worst game, at least, of the season?
If there's any NFL GMs watching, yes, I don't think he's ready to play in the NFL. You guys should probably let him fall to at least 12. He's not ready. I think his stock dropped. I don't know. I honestly don't feel like he did enough to make his stock drop. There was a couple bad throws, absolutely. There was 2 or 3 throws that the wide receiver ended up coming out and say was his fault. Yep. So I definitely understand that they didn't play their best game, but I still think he is the best quarterback coming out.
Oh, okay.
See, I
didn't follow it all. I love it.
I don't blame him for what went wrong. Like, so many of the stuff, like the team was just not as good, and I can't say like he maximized his opportunities, but a lot of like the mistakes were like garbage time, like you need 2 touchdowns in like 5 minutes, so then he like misses a throw, and you're like, I mean, it's not that big of a deal. But coming into that game, I thought he was like freaky good. Like, I looked at him and was like, this might be like a great quarterback. Like, you see what he's doing, like all the throws he makes. Like, this guy might be like elite. And then coming out of it, it's like, okay, some of the magic is just a little bit gone. Like, I want to see like how Burrow capped off his last season at LSU with like a great game in the national championship. And to be fair, like, again, his teammates didn't really give him a chance to do that, but I just didn't see that. So like I was just so high on him because I thought like he could be just like insanely good. And I'm like, just one more game and I would have been all over it. Instead, it's like, yeah, he's a good prospect. He's going to be a good quarterback, but like, I just don't feel so like it's not like magical
you don't feel the
anymore.
butterflies in your stomach.
Yeah,
anymore.
Exactly. I had so many butterflies before.
Then you can't. If the butterflies are gone before the marriage, can you go through with that?
No, you're not supposed to.
I mean,
That's
yeah,
when you pull out.
That's when you pull out.
yeah, that's when you pull out. And that's where like Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, I still get butterflies when I see him. The rest of them, it's like it's not butterflies, but like obviously could still be a great quarterback. It's just like you want like the special. Just go finish it off. You know?
So the whole year doesn't count. It just matters that.
That's what gets
the
him
thing about
way
it
up
is
there.
you didn't see him the whole year. You weren't like locked into how he was playing. So you really, really, truly watched the semifinal game at your first preview. So you're like, oh my gosh, this guy's amazing. And all of a sudden, the next time you see him, he's not as amazing, and now he's like, the feeling's gone. The honeymoon is over.
Almost. Like I saw him like 3 other times.
Okay.
Like, because again, like I'm not like a huge college football guy. Starting soon, I'm gonna like lock in and watch all these guys and have like opinions I actually believe. But I am a Pac-12 guy, and so I do watch a couple of those games. USC game, Oregon game were fun.
So how much did his stock drop for you? Like slightly, significantly.
Not like I think I said I would have traded like 2 firsts to go get him before the game. I think now it's like if he's there at 12, yeah, get him. If you could like trade a first and like a next year's third, like I could get behind that. More than that, and I'm gonna be like, it's you're giving up a lot here.
That's a pretty significant stock drop,
Yeah.
in my opinion. Going
Again,
from 2
like
firsts
it's
to
just
a first and a third.
because when you see a guy, when you're just like, this guy is like special magic, like you got to get him in the building. Sure, give up a couple firsts. At this point, though, especially given where the Broncos are, draft pick wise and like future wise and cap all that sort of stuff, it's like giving up too many assets for anybody is probably a bad idea. I just can't like get behind too much.
So when we talked about him last week, I spun his knee injuries as actually being a good thing because I think it makes him a better NFL prospect from having to win in the pocket, and he's proven that he can do that at an incredible rate, and I think that's more important than being able to be like a running quarterback when it comes to NFL and especially long-term sustainability. But now I am worried about the injuries just because I felt like he was just getting crushed this game, and that's why he was getting, he was barely able to walk off the field, and it looked like his ribs were really in pain. And credit to him, he hung in there. The toughness is absolutely there with him. That will never be questioned. But he was sacked once in this game. Now, he still got hit other times, but he was the least sacked quarterback in college football this season. That's credit to him. That's a credit to his offensive line. I certainly give him credit for that too. But then when he gets beat up just a little bit more, he was really looking like he was in pain. So Todd, from a player perspective, Is there such a thing? Do you believe in a player being injury prone?
Absolutely. Those guys have been injury prone. You look at Derrick Rose and Anthony Davis, and those are basketball players, but we definitely have seen guys that just find a way to end up on that gurney in surgery. So I hope that's not him. And I think for me watching the film, like some of the things that are happening, especially to his ankle, like there was one time where 600 pounds fell on his ankle, and although he didn't get, it wasn't a sack, I felt like most guys would have left the game at that point.
Yes.
Or like, you know what I'm saying? That's a major injury or a high ankle sprain, something. And I just saw him stay in there. I'm like, dang. All right, you know, he's, in my eyes, if you're injury prone, that's a season-ending injury. Like, it's over. So I don't know if he's injury prone still to this point. Maybe I'm just a fan. and I can't see what's right in front of me. I'm blinded by the, I got the beer goggles on right now. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I think that's very fair. And he did get a few hits, and that's again why his toughness is unquestioned. In fact, I feel better about his toughness after this last game because he hung in there. But the injuries do just scare me because it's shoulders, knees, now just like
it shoulders,
seemed
knees,
like
and toes.
exactly ribs and toes, ribs and ankles. And so I'm a little. I still love the way he plays football, and I'm not scared off of him at all. But man, just seeing any hit he got, it bothered him. Freaks me out.
He was getting crushed though.
You don't have FOMO at all? Like do you have FOMO?
I'm not out on him.
Okay.
I'm definitely not.
Because what if he goes somewhere else and just goes crazy? Aren't you gonna be like, dang?
Yeah,
of course. Exactly.
We knew.
Yes, absolutely. In terms of like the getting hit thing, like he got hit a lot. Like it was over and over and over.
Isn't that gonna happen in the NFL though?
I mean, you would kind of hope not. Like.
Well, of course you hope not. Like every team hopes their quarterback doesn't get hit a lot.
But it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know. Like every quarterback gets pressured. It's like so when you get a prospect, it's like, well, yeah, like you give him a clean pocket. Like what's he gonna do? Like you got to get him a clean pocket. Like no quarterback is going to be successful unless you're like protecting him. You know, that's just the way it works. And so, I don't know. So I don't think this game changes much for me in terms of like the toughness or anything like that. Like you can make the case that like he didn't get injured despite getting hit by some big dudes over and over again. So like the injury thing maybe is a little bit better. Like
did he get injured?
I mean, I don't think so. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we find out like he broke a couple ribs there. Yeah. Like the way he was holding those, it was like that's like broken ribs holding them. You know, maybe it's just a bad bruise and he's soft, but I don't think that's the case. Like I don't know. I don't worry too much about what I saw. Speaking
of specifically a quarterback coming to the Broncos, do you think the Broncos' offensive line is going to be better or worse next year? It's going to be better? Mm-hmm. Okay. Hank?
Just the continuity.
Yeah, I'd say better. I think McGlinchey won't get worse, and he could get better. Like, and then on top of that, you probably replace your center. But I mean, your center in pass protection isn't that big of a deal. Like 2/3 of the time, he's on a double team anyway in pass protection. And then you get another year of continuity. So this beginning of the season when they were kind of rough, like in theory, you get to dodge that. So I think better.
Okay, and I'll say the same. You guys convinced me I was going to go worse because of losing Lloyd, but I think the continuity will hopefully even that out. Yeah. Especially Lloyd just had the best year of his career by far. Yeah. So I do think that'll hurt, but I'll give you the continuity helps it a little bit. How good was this offensive line? Because, and I was in the camp of like, man, Russ, what, in terms of pass protection?
Yeah, I'm curious. Let me see where those numbers ended up.
What, they ended up giving up top 3 most sacks. And it was like, damn, well, Russ was responsible for a lot of them. But then didn't Jarrett, when he came in, average the same number of sacks that Russ had during his 15 games that he played? So that does concern me a little bit. And so I think it's naive to be like, oh, a rookie's going to come in and not be hit at all.
Yeah, so the Broncos finished, and this is by ESPN's tracking, as a team, they were 8th in pass blocking win rate and 3rd in run blocking win rate.
Give me sacks.
I do not have sacks pulled up. But I knew it was big sacks. Again, what is that Russ? Is that whoever? Those are arguments for Twitter.
But again, like Stidham got sacked just as much as Russ did.
Yeah.
Stidham's not Russ.
But I mean, he's Stidham. Yeah, like we're not saying he was Tom Brady back there getting the ball out quickly.
Yeah, no, it's
and then you
true.
get like the receivers, are they getting open? Like there's just a lot that goes into it.
He's gonna have the same receivers or worse.
Oh yeah, no, and that's what I've been saying is like the Broncos are not like there isn't like a great path forward here. Like it's going to be kind of rough next year.